Do you know somebody who always seems to get everything done, but yet is super relaxed and seems to be enjoying life? It's because they have good, strong organization habits, and I'll show you today what they are and how you can adopt some of them as well. And you can be that relaxed go-getter that's getting it done, but also enjoying things along the way. So let's go. Okay, organized people are really good with setting boundaries, whether it's with their physical possessions or whether it's with their time. And there's a saying, I don't know where I heard it, but it's very profound, short and sweet, but it really has stuck in my mind. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And so often we'll set goals and objectives and have intentions for ourselves that we want to get certain things done, whether it's, this week, this month, or throughout the year. But what happens is new things pop up, new things that may be from schools or organizations or friends and family, and you end up having to say yes to things. But when you say yes to those things, you're saying no to the other things that you already were excited about and wanted to do. So it's really important that when you say yes, that you're saying yes and you know that you're not giving something up, or you're okay with giving it up, because you don't want to be resentful and you want to make progress on your things. So sometimes you might need to say no, and you need to exercise this habit. You need to really try to ask yourself that question before you give that quick yes. Say, okay, if I do this thing, what am I saying no to? If you're okay with that, with the outcome of that, you're okay with saying no to whatever you're not going to have time for, then that's great. You won't be resentful. But you might need to say no thank you, and pass, so that you can make sure you focus on what you want to do. So give this one a try. Ask yourself that little question. If I say yes, what am I saying no to? Organized people will prioritize what they work on throughout their week. They tend to have calendars, planners, apps on their phones, or even just Post-its or pen and paper. But what they'll do is they'll look at what the commitments they have on their week, and then they'll also look at what do they want to accomplish. And if they wanted to accomplish something like, let's say, clean out the garage, they would first break it down into manageable chunks to fit into their schedule, instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna slot this entire afternoon to work on the garage. Instead, what they'll do is they'll break it up into smaller pieces. So they might say, I need to pick up the trash, I need to return these items to a neighbor or family member, I need to get things ready for a garage sale, different things that they would want to do, and they slide that into their calendar, and it's more manageable because they may only have like 2 hours available. Well, they know they can get these 3 tasks done, and then they'll find time in the rest of their schedule for the remaining items. So try to break things up into manageable chunks, and that way you can ensure that you're able to get through them more easily, instead of just putting a big chunk, and unfortunately the whole thing can just get blown off. The other thing is, each day, the habit that organized people have is that they prioritize the things they work on. So if they'll say, you know what, today the most important thing for me are these 3 things, and they circle them on their paper or they tag them in their app and say, these are the things I must work on today. They do those first if they can, and just make sure that they're prioritized, those boxes get checked, and then they work on the other things on their schedule. So try looking at your schedule, whatever tool you use, breaking some of the larger projects up into chunks, and then finding time for them. And then each day, make sure you look at your day of responsibilities and highlight and know which ones are the most important things for you to get done that day. You want to make sure those are the things that by the end of the day, you're like, I got those 3 things done. I have a couple other things that may need to slide into next week, but the most important things got done. Okay, a habit of organized people is they tend to review how they're doing with things. They take time to say, hey, how are things going? So at the end of the week, they may do a weekly wrap up that says, I wanted to get all of these things done. Was I able to? If I didn't get what I wanted to done, was it because of lack of knowledge? Was it lack of time? Was it lack of tools, or whatever the things are? And they do a review and say, okay, is it realistic for me to have this goal? What do I now need to do? Do I need to learn a new skill? Do I need to buy a new tool? Or, do I need to ask for help? So they'll review their progress weekly, instead of waiting till the end of the month or the end of the year to find out that, oh, you know what? I didn't make as much progress on my goal as I wanted to. This is a really important habit because it helps you stay on track, but most importantly, it helps you pivot and make changes so that you can actually achieve your goal. Because sometimes when we start a project or a goal, let's say to lose weight or to save money to buy a car, things may not go as planned. So by regularly reviewing how you're doing and what your plan is and if you're on track, it helps you pivot and make any necessarily tweaks or changes that you need to your plans to ensure you stay on track. So give this a try. Try to set a date for yourself to spend 15 minutes at the end of each week to look at what you wanted to get done with your goals and how you're doing, and make any necessary tweaks the following week to help you stay on track. Researchers at Stanford University found that multitasking was less effective than working on one thing at once. And what they found were that people were unable to take all the different streams of things coming at them and be able to effectively focus on more than one thing at once. They were unable to recall information, they were unable to finish tasks effectively, and they didn't finish them at the level that they would if they'd done things one at a time. So the way that we can apply this to our lives is look for opportunities where we can do things, one at a time and more quickly get them done and move on to the next thing. An example would be, you don't want to work on an important sales copy while you're trying to watch your children, right? Maybe you can do the dishes and watch your children at the same time if they're nearby, but trying to do something that require the focus of writing a research paper or working on some work and trying to watch your kids and maybe listen to a meeting at the same time, it's just not going to work. So try to group things and put things in your calendar so you set yourself up for success so you're not multitasking on those really important items. Staying accountable to yourself is a must-have trait, and organized people are really good at this. They're effective at ensuring that the commitments that they make for themselves are just as important as commitments they make for others. So it's really important for us, and I need to work on this all the time, it's really important that we keep ourselves accountable, that let's say we want to start a diet or a new exercise routine, that we don't say, oh, you know what, I'll start again tomorrow, I'll start again on next week, I'm just too busy, or this commitment came up, or some activity came up. It's important we hold ourselves accountable for our goals, and it's a hard thing to do. I have to work on this all the time and remind myself, but this is why organized people and effective people are able to accomplish what they want to, because they hold themselves accountable. Their word means something to themselves. So let's focus on that one. Okay, you probably knew this one was going to be on my list, but organized people and effective people have routines. They're so important, and they're foundation of everything that organized people do. They have a morning routine, they have an evening routine, they may even have like a weekend routine. But what these routines do for them is they set structure, they ensure that they're doing the things that are important to them, and it helps them get through their day. Things are predictable. They don't have stress and anxiety wondering about what's coming or what's going on. They know what to do. They're used to this certain flow, and it works really well for them. And the important thing is nobody's saying you have to get up at 5 a.m. or you have to go to bed at 9, right? You need to set routines that work for you, right? And work for your lifestyle. And what works for me and what works for somebody else may not be the same. I need to get up early and go straight to the gym, or else it's just not going to happen. So that is part of my morning routine. I like to come home from the gym after I shower, and I like to sit down and get an hour of work done before I take my daughter to school, because it's like this magical hour where I just knock things out. I'm on top of it. But that routine may not work for you. You may be best at night when I'm sleepy, right? So the important thing is to establish routines to make your life more predictable, to ensure you get the things done that you want to do, but also it'll help reduce the stress because things are predictable. And I cannot tell you how amazing it is to have these routines set in place. So the way that you can do this is start small. Don't create a morning routine that takes you 2 hours to get done, right? Create a routine. What are the first few things that you want to do? You probably already have a routine to brush your hair and shower, brush your teeth in the morning. What else should be on your routine? Is it to make breakfast? Is it to drink 8 ounces of water, or maybe walk the dog? Whatever that is, start small and start to add things to your routine, and you'll find that the predictability of your day-to-day really helps you feel comfortable and get started and helps you be more effective. Organized people keep their living spaces tidy and clean, right? They have the habit of decluttering, right? And making sure that they don't have excess, they have what they need, they have everything they need where it needs to be, right? But the important thing is they don't have excess. So organized people will make sure and set time up, whether it's monthly, weekly, daily, it doesn't matter, to declutter and be intentional with it. The way that you could do this is, put some multiple bins bins throughout your house, maybe in your kids' room and in the toy room and maybe the garage. Put a bin that says donation on it. And whenever you come across something and you're doing some sort of activity and you go, oh, I really don't need this anymore, I could give this to somebody else, put it in your donation bin, and then later on in the week or the month, you can go through and collect everything from the donation bin and take it down to a local charity or wherever you want to take it. The habit of keeping things clutter-free is very key for an organized person to accomplish everything that they do. Okay, organized people are really good at this next habit, and you may have heard me say this before if you've watched my videos, but everything in their homes have a place and everything is in its place. You know, when you walk into your kitchen, you know, and pretty much everyone in your house knows where to find a fork or a spoon because everybody has a drawer designated for their silverware or some sort of container. That generally is never in question. People know where to find a drinking cup usually, right? But that concept should be played out for everything in your home, right? Your office supplies, your cleaning supplies, you know, things in, you know, where to find first aid items, right? Everything should have a home and everything should be in its home. This is a fundamental and important habit all organized people do. It helps ensure you calm the chaos inside your home and that you have a stress-free living environment. The other thing is it ensures you can save money because you're not buying duplicates and triplicates of things because you can't find them. So start small, work on, you know, certain categories. Maybe focus first on your cleaners, focus on finding a home for all your office supplies and letting everybody know, here's where you guys can find the office supplies. They're labeled. Please make sure you return them when you're done. And everyone will always, you know, I find people usually comply, right? So give this a shot. Make sure that everything has a home and everything is in its home. Now, this one may surprise you, but organized people have the habit of relaxing and resetting and making sure that they take time to rest, right? Organized people know that you can't just go and actually be able to sustain that. So putting a habit in place for self-care is super important. And what I might enjoy for self-care may be different than you. Some people might want to go for a run or go for a hike or go for coffee with a friend. Some people might want to take a bubble bath or sit down and read a book. Whatever that activity is, they make sure that's prioritized in their schedule so they have time to rest and relax. This is really important. That way you ensure you don't burn out and that you're doing something that you enjoy. Okay, so there you have it. There's some top habits of highly organized people, and I hope you got some ideas on how you can implement some of these habits into your life and start to be that person that seems to get it all done, but yet seems relaxed and not overwhelmed, right? You don't want to be an overwhelmed person, but you do want to be an effective person. So I hope these habits help. Hit the subscribe button and join me next time. Bye.